Acne Positivity Day is a day dedicated to raising awareness about acne and promoting self-acceptance and positivity for those who experience it. Acne is a common skin condition that occurs when hair follicles become clogged with oil, dead skin cells, and bacteria. Teenagers get acne the worst due to many factors combined. During puberty, the body produces more androgens, a group of hormones that includes testosterone. These hormones stimulate the sebaceous glands, which are oil glands in the skin, to produce more sebum, which is oil. This excess oil can trap bacteria, leading to inflammation and the formation of pimples, blackheads, and whiteheads. As bacteria multiply in clogged pores, they cause inflammation, leading to the red, swollen pimples typical of acne. Genetic factors can influence how the skin reacts to hormonal changes, how much oil is produced, and how likely pores are to become clogged. Acne during the teenage years is typically a normal part of puberty, and for most, it decreases as they grow older and their hormones stabilize. Mouthguard Day is observed on the first Monday in September and is dedicated to raising awareness about the importance of using mouthguards to protect the teeth and mouth during sports and other physical activities. The history of mouthguards can't be pinned down. It is connected to the work of London dentist Wolf Krauss, who did develop a mouthguard in 1890. Krauss's mouthguard, originally called a gum shield, was created to protect boxers from lip lacerations, which were common in boxing matches at the time. Krauss's son, Philip Krauss, was an amateur boxer and dentist who refined the gum shield design in the early 1900s. He made a reusable version of the gum shield out of a piece of natural rubber for his friend Ted Kid Lewis to use in a championship fight. By 1962, the American Dental Association had endorsed mouthguards for football players, leading to more widespread use. Modern mouthguards incorporate features like enhanced breathability, flavored materials, and even smart technology to monitor impacts. Skyscraper Day is celebrated annually on September 3rd, honoring the architectural and engineering marvels that define modern city skylines, skyscrapers. This day pays tribute to the creativity, innovation, and technological advancements that make the construction of these towering structures possible. The Home Insurance Building in Chicago, completed in 1885, is widely considered the world's first skyscraper. Designed by architect William LeBaron Jenney, it stood 10 stories tall and was the first building to use a steel frame construction, which allowed for greater height without the heavy, thick walls required in traditional masonry buildings. The invention of the elevator by Elijah Otis in 1852 made tall buildings practical. Without elevators, it would have been impractical for people to climb multiple flights of stairs, limiting the usable height of buildings. The future skyscrapers may involve even taller buildings. Advancements in technology and materials could lead to innovative designs, such as rotating skyscrapers or buildings with adaptable spaces. Macadamia Nut Day is celebrated on September 4th, honoring the delicious and nutritious macadamia nut. Native to Australia, the macadamia nut has become a popular treat worldwide, known for its rich, buttery flavor and versatility in various culinary applications. Macadamia trees are indigenous to Australia, specifically Queensland and New South Wales. The nut was named after Dr. John Macadam, a Scottish-Australian chemist and politician. Macadamia nuts were later introduced to Hawaii, where they became a significant agricultural product. Due to their labor-intensive harvesting and slow-growing nature, macadamia nuts are among the most expensive nuts in the world. And don't be giving them to your dog. While macadamia nuts are safe for human consumption, they are toxic to dogs and can cause symptoms like weakness, vomiting, and tremors. Macadamia nuts are celebrated for their rich taste, nutritional benefits, and versatility in cooking, making them a favorite among chefs and food enthusiasts alike. National Cellulite Day is observed on September 5th every year. Cellulite is a common and natural condition where the skin appears dimpled or lumpy, typically occurring on areas like thighs, buttocks, abdomen, and sometimes the arms. It's caused by the underlying fat deposits pushing through connective tissue beneath the skin. Estrogen, insulin, and other hormones play a role in cellulite development. Changes in hormone levels, particularly during puberty, pregnancy, or menopause, can influence its appearance. Genetics determine skin structure, skin texture, and body type, all of which influence the likelihood of developing cellulite. There is no proven way to completely eliminate cellulite. Regular exercise, a balanced diet, and staying hydrated can help reduce the appearance of cellulite by toning muscles and improving skin health. In recent years, there has been a growing movement towards body positivity, encouraging people to accept and love their bodies as they are, including the presence of cellulite. It's not really that big a deal. Fight Procrastination Day is observed annually on September 6th. It's a day dedicated to encouraging people to overcome procrastination and develop better time management skills. You know, it's Friday. If you're like me, then you absolutely hate your job. You go because you have to live or you need something to fill your time. You don't necessarily like your boss or your coworkers. The work is boring and unfulfilling. Then you have to go home to your family where you may have to cook for them or worse, pay attention to them. Do we really want to fight procrastination today? Fight Procrastination Day encourages people to focus on productivity, set clear goals, and tackle tasks they may have been putting off. It's an opportunity to reflect on time management strategies and adapt habits that help minimize distractions and delays. You know, fuck all that. Do it on Monday. I now officially make Fight Procrastination Day into Procrastinate Your Ass Off Day, celebrated every September 6th. Tailgating Day is a celebration of the social tradition of gathering before sports events, particularly football games, to enjoy food, drinks, and games in a parking lot or near a stadium. Typically observed on the first Saturday of September, it coincides with the start of football season in the U.S. Some historians trace tailgating to the first Battle of Bull Run during the American Civil War. Spectators from the Union side reportedly watched the battle while picnicking. Others believe the first true tailgate took place at the first college football game between Rutgers and Princeton. As professional football gained popularity in the mid-20th century, tailgating spread to NFL games where fans replicated the college experience. Tailgating is also associated with concerts, festivals, and other large events, often involving long-standing traditions, family recipes, and friendly competition in games like cornhole or beer pong. Fans bring grills, snacks, and beverages, creating a festive atmosphere to show team spirit and enjoy camaraderie. Ampersand Day is celebrated annually on September 8th to honor this symbol, which has long been used as a shorthand for the word and. The ampersand, a ligature formed from the letters E and T from the Latin word et, meaning and, is a beloved typographic symbol in design and language. The ampersand traces its root back to ancient Rome in the 1st century AD when scribes began connecting the letters E and T in cursive writing. In medieval manuscripts, the ampersand became common due to its time-saving convenience. The name ampersand comes from the phrase and per se and, which was part of a 19th century children's rhyme used to teach the alphabet, where and was included as a 27th letter. Today, the ampersand is widely used in branding design and typography due to its elegant form and symbolic meaning. It is especially popular in logos, formal titles, and artistic compositions. Sudoku Day is celebrated annually on September 9th. The date, 9/9, reflects the 9x9 grid format that is characteristic of most Sudoku puzzles. The game involves filling the grids so that each row, column, and 3x3 subgrid contains the number 1 through 9 without repetition. The concept of Sudoku can be traced back to Latin squares, a mathematical construct developed in the 18th century by a Swiss mathematician, Leonhard Euler. Latin squares involve filling a grid where each symbol or number appears only once per row and column. This idea laid the foundation for the Sudoku puzzle format. Howard Garnes, an American architect and puzzle designer, is credited with creating the first puzzle similar to modern Sudoku in 1979. His puzzle called Number Place was published by Dell magazine in the US. Garnes' version included a 9x9 grid with some numbers already filled in, and the goal was to complete the grid by following logical rules. Makai Kaji, known as the godfather of Sudoku, discovered the puzzle in the 1980s and brought it to Japan, where it gained immense popularity. He renamed it Sudoku, which is short for the Japanese phrase, I'll put it up on the screen because there's no way I'm going to pronounce it, meaning the digits must be single. Kaji's company, Nicoli, started publishing the puzzle and its popularity soared throughout Japan. In the early 2000s, Sudoku gained international fame when New Zealand puzzle creator Wayne Gould developed a computer program that could generate Sudoku puzzles. His puzzles were first published in the Times newspaper in London in 2004, sparking a global Sudoku craze. Sudoku is now one of the world's most popular puzzles, with variants ranging from 4x4 grids for beginners to complex forms. The puzzle is featured in newspapers, apps, and puzzle books worldwide. Sudoku Day celebrates the intellectual challenge and satisfaction that comes from solving these puzzles, making it a great way to engage your mind and have fun. The story of the TV dinner's invention is said to have been sparked by a surplus of frozen turkey after Thanksgiving in 1953. Swanson, looking for a way to sell the extra product, tasked a salesman named Jerry Thomas with finding a solution. Thomas reportedly came up with the idea of packaging the turkey with sides, similar to the way airplane meals were served at the time. Swanson officially launched its first TV dinner in 1954, selling a frozen meal of roast turkey, cornbread dressing, peas, and sweet potatoes for 98 cents. TV dinners quickly became a hit largely due to their convenience, affordability, and the growing popularity of television. Families could enjoy a meal while watching their favorite TV shows, a new and exciting form of entertainment in the 1950s. The 1970s brought microwaves into households, and the frozen food industry adapted to this new appliance. By the 1980s, TV dinners were designed for microwave heating, which further boosted their convenience.
Hot cross buns. It's when a Ku Klux Klansman shoves a burning cross up your ass.
National Hot Cross Bun Day is celebrated on September 11th each year. This day honors the traditional spiced bun made with raisins or currants, typically marked with a cross on top and often enjoyed around Easter. Before becoming associated with Christianity, the origins of hot cross buns are thought to date back to ancient pagan celebrations. The Saxons, for instance, baked small round cakes to honor their goddess of spring and fertility, Istra. These cakes often featured a cross symbol, which was a reference to the four seasons or phases of the moon. The transition to Christian tradition came during medieval times, particularly in England. By the 12th century, monks began marking their sweet buns with a cross in honor of Good Friday, symbolizing the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. National School Picture Day is celebrated annually on the second Thursday of September to honor the tradition of school pictures, which capture memories of students' school years. Early school photography was often centered around group pictures of entire classes rather than individual portraits. These photos were sometimes taken by traveling photographers who would visit schools once a year. Through the 1930s and the 1940s, with the advancement of camera technology and the growing availability of photography services, individual student portraits became more common. After World War II, school photography became a more widespread practice, with companies like Lifetouch and Olin Mills becoming dominant players in the industry. By the mid-20th century, school photos became a standard feature in yearbooks, allowing students to see their classmates' pictures and keep a record of their school years. With the advent of digital photography, students can now review their photos digitally before ordering, and retouching services have become more common. The first Friday, the 13th of the year, which is September 13th of 2024, marks National Blame Someone Else Day. National Blame Someone Else Day was invented by Annie Moyler of Clio, Michigan in 1982. One day her alarm clock failed to go off, hence creating a domino effect of bad luck events throughout the day. Since the day happened to be on Friday the 13th, the observance takes place on the first Friday the 13th each year. In the United States, I can't speak for the rest of the world, typically we blame our problems on outside forces, violence on television or video games, the damn neighbor's kids because my kid couldn't possibly do anything wrong, social media, they've made us addicted to their platforms, and the list goes on. No personal responsibility, no accountability for your own actions. It's always someone else's fault. You know those people. I see them on the news every single day. Get out there and do dumb shit. Do the dumbest shit possible, and then blame it on someone else. You are not at fault today. Someone else is.
Here comes the big news in the low-price field, the big new Studebaker, bringing you craftsmanship with a flair.
Drive Your Studebaker Day is an annual event celebrated on the second Saturday of September to honor the legacy of the Studebaker Automobile Company and its iconic cars.
All new with its look of sculptured steel. Longer, wider, bigger.
Founded in 1852 by brothers Henry and Clement Studebaker in South Bend, Indiana, the company originally manufactured horse-drawn wagons.
Performance to satisfy the most particular demands for power, for safety.
As automobiles began to replace horse-drawn carriages, Studebaker recognized the shift and began to transition into the automotive industry.
Big new Studebaker. See your dealer today.
Makai Kaji, known as the godfather of Sudoku, discovered the puzzle in the 1980s and brought it to Japan, where it gained immense popularity. He renamed it Sudoku, which is short for the Japanese phrase, I'll put it up on the screen because there's no way I'm going to pronounce it, meaning the digits must be single. Kaji's company, Nicoli, started publishing the puzzle and its popularity soared throughout Japan. In the early 2000s, Sudoku gained international fame when New Zealand puzzle creator Wayne Gould developed a computer program that could generate Sudoku puzzles. His puzzles were first published in the Times newspaper in London in 2004, sparking a global Sudoku craze. Sudoku is now one of the world's most popular puzzles, with variants ranging from 4x4 grids for beginners to complex forms. The puzzle is featured in newspapers, apps, and puzzle books worldwide. Sudoku Day celebrates the intellectual challenge and satisfaction that comes from solving these puzzles, making it a great way to engage your mind and have fun. Felt Hat Day is celebrated on September 15th and honors the tradition of wearing felt hats, which were a popular and stylish accessory in the early centuries. Felt was one of the earliest materials used by humans to make clothing and headwear, dated back as far as 3000 BCE. Ancient nomad tribes such as the Scythians and the Mongols wore felted hats and clothing. They appreciated felt for its durability, water resistance, and insulating properties, crucial for surviving harsh climates. Felt hats became more common in Europe during the Middle Ages. Monks, soldiers, and civilians wore various styles of felt hats. During the 19th century, the hat-making industry grew rapidly with industrialization. Felt hats became a staple in men's fashion, including iconic styles like the top hat, boiler, and fedora. In the American West, felt hats like the Stetson were worn by cowboys and adventurers due to their durability and protection from the sun and rain. By the mid-20th century, hat wearing as a daily fashion trend began to decline. I mean, when's the last time you saw someone wearing a felt hat? National Play-Doh Day, celebrated annually on September 16th, is dedicated to the beloved modeling compound that has been a favorite for children and creative minds since the 1950s. Play-Doh was originally invented as a wallpaper cleaner in the 1930s by Noah McVicker of the Cincinnati-based soap company Cuddle Products. At the time, coal heating left soot on the walls, and the cleaner, which was a non-toxic pliable dough, was used to remove it. As homes transitioned to gas heating, demand for the wallpaper cleaner dropped. Around 1949, Joseph McVicker, Noah's nephew, joined Cuddle Products and learned that the wallpaper cleaner could be repurposed as a children's modeling material. In 1955, Joseph McVicker worked with nursery school teacher Kay Kufal, who had used the cleaner as a modeling clay substitute for her students. She suggested the product could be marketed as a toy. The McVickers refined the formula, removing detergents to make it more suitable for children. In 1956, the McVickers officially launched Play-Doh under the new name, and it was first sold in one color, off-white. Rainbow Crafts Company, a subsidiary of Cuddle, was created to focus on marketing Play-Doh. In 1957, Play-Doh got its big break when it was featured on the popular children's TV show Captain Kangaroo. This exposure helped Play-Doh become an instant success. It was soon available in 3 primary colors that would be red, blue, and yellow. In the 1960s, the compound was now widely available in multicolors, and Play-Doh began to expand internationally. During this decade, the Play-Doh Fun Factory, a popular accessory for creating shapes, was introduced, further boosting its popularity. 1965, General Mills purchased the Play-Doh brand from the McVickers. This led to larger scale production and distribution, making it a household name. In 1991, Play-Doh became part of the Hasbro family when it acquired Tonka, which had earlier bought Play-Doh from General Mills. Hasbro continued to develop new Play-Doh colors and accessories. In 1998, Play-Doh was inducted into the National Toy Hall of Fame right here in Rochester, New York, recognizing its significant impact on childhood play and creativity. The 2000s to right this minute, Play-Doh continues to innovate with new play sets, tools, and even scents. Over 3 billion cans of Play-Doh have been sold worldwide. The scent of Play-Doh is trademarked because it's a distinctive nostalgic smell. Okay, I didn't know you could trademark smells. Play-Doh is primarily made of water, salt, and flour, making it non-toxic and safe for children. The versatility of Play-Doh, originally designed as a wallpaper cleaner before becoming a toy, makes it a symbol of innovation and creativity. It's also become a nostalgic toy for many adults, offering a sense of connection to their own childhood while continuing to inspire new generations of young creators.
Play-Doh's got the toy for you, for playtime fun, parties too. All you do is choose the toy that's made for you.
Yes.
Smithsonian Day, also known as Museum Day, is an annual event organized by the Smithsonian Magazine to promote the accessibility of museums across the United States. Celebrated on September 17th, Smithsonian Day allows visitors to enjoy free admission to participating museums, cultural institutions, and historical sites nationwide. Around 1829, English scientist James Smithson left his fortune to the U.S. government to create an institution for the increase and diffusion of knowledge among men. The gift, totaling around $500,000, which was a massive sum at that time, was intended to establish what would become the Smithsonian. Congress passed legislation establishing the Smithsonian Institution, and President James K. Polk signed it into law on August 10th of 1846. Today, the Smithsonian consists of 19 museums and galleries. The Smithsonian's collection contains over 154 million objects, ranging from art and historical artifacts to scientific specimens. Rice Krispie Treat Day is celebrated on September 18th, honoring the beloved marshmallow and cereal snack that has been a favorite for decades. Rice Krispie cereal was invented by Eugene McKay, a food scientist at Kellogg's. The cereal was developed as part of a trend to create puffed, ready-to-eat cereals made from grains. Rice Krispie Treats dates back to 1939, when they were first created by Mildred Day and her co-worker, Melita Jensen, at the Kellogg Company. They were looking for a simple, inexpensive dessert that could be made quickly and would appeal to the masses. The treats were originally tested for a fundraiser for the Campfire Girls, a youth organization similar to Girl Scouts. After the success of the treats at the fundraiser, Kellogg quickly realized their popularity and began including the recipe on Rice Krispie cereal boxes, helping the snack spread nationwide. In 1995, Kellogg started selling prepackaged Rice Krispie treats to capitalize on their popularity, allowing people to enjoy them without having to make them at home. You learn a lot doing this channel. I thought Paw Paw Day was going to be something about dogs, and I was totally incorrect. Paw Paw Day is celebrated on the third Thursday of September, recognizing the unique and Native American fruit, the pawpaw. It's even funny saying it. The pawpaw is the largest edible fruit native to the United States and grows in parts of the eastern and southern U.S. Pawpaw has a creamy texture and a flavor that is often described as a blend between banana, mango, and melon. They are rich in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Though not widely commercialized, they have gained a dedicated following. Pawpaw trees were often found growing in the wild along riverbanks and in forests from the Great Lakes to the Gulf Coast. Native tribes, including the Cherokee and the Iroquois, consumed the fruit fresh, dried it for later use, and incorporated it into bread and other dishes. On Pawpaw Day, people often celebrate by tasting the fruit, sharing recipes, and learning more about the rich history and the uses of pawpaw. I went to the store and saw some pawpaw. National String Cheese Day is celebrated on September 20th each year. At the age of 16, Frank Baker learned cheese making through an apprenticeship at the Winkler Cheese Factory in Plymouth, Wisconsin. And 6 years later, in 1916, he purchased a cheese factory in St. Cloud, Wisconsin, which is where Baker Cheese still operates today. Frank Baker started Baker Cheese making cheddar in 1916, but with pizza driving demand for mozzarella, he and his son Francis went with the hot cheese. They were a good couple of decades into exclusively producing mozzarella cheese by the late 1970s. After attending a trade show about the characteristics of mozzarella, including its stretchy nature when melted, Francis started thinking of a way to turn it into a snack food. Francis soon recognized the need for smaller consumer-sized units and took a ball of mozzarella, stretched it into a rope, and cut it into small chunks, and thus the original Baker string cheese was born in 1976. Miniature Golf Day is celebrated annually on September 21st. It's a day dedicated to enjoying the fun, lighthearted activity of mini golf. It's an opportunity to visit local courses, test your skills against challenging obstacles, and experience the creative designs of different courses. Some of the earliest versions of miniature golf appeared in Scotland, where regular golf originated. In the 1860s, the Ladies' Putting Club of St. Andrews created a form of mini golf specifically for women. At the time, it was considered improper for women to swing a golf club above their shoulders, so a smaller version of the game focused only on putting was developed. The first officially recognized miniature golf course in the United States was called Thistledew, built in Pinehurst, North Carolina in 1916. Thistledew, meaning this'll do, was designed as a whimsical garden course, and its success helped popularize mini golf in the U.S. During the 1920s, miniature golf experienced a massive surge in popularity. In 1926, Garnett Carter opened a course near his Fairyland Inn in Lookout Mountain, Tennessee. This course, called Tom Thumb Golf, is credited with launching the mini golf craze. Themed miniature golf courses featured elaborate obstacles and decorations began to appear. Windmills, castles, and fun hazards became standard elements. The game's accessibility made it a popular family pastime during the economic hardships of the Great Depression and post-World War II era. In the 1960s, formal organizations like the Professional Miniature Golf Association were founded, leading to organized tournaments and competitive leagues. Mini golf courses also began standardizing to provide more uniform experiences for competitive play. Today, mini golf remains a beloved recreational activity worldwide. Courses have become increasingly creative, using advanced materials and themes, while the sport has developed into a competitive discipline with events like the World Mini Golf Championships. Chainmail Day is observed annually on September 22nd. Chainmail is believed to have been invented by the Celts around the 3rd century BCE in Europe. They used small metal rings, typically made of iron or steel, which were meticulously linked together to create a flexible, mesh-like garment that could be worn by warriors in battle. Roman soldiers, especially in those in auxiliary units, wore chainmail due to its ease of repair and durability compared to other types of armor like scale or plate armor. Medieval knights favored chainmail, often wearing it over a padded garment called a gambeson. This armor was flexible, allowing knights to ride horses and move relatively freely, and it offered excellent protection against slashing attacks. By the 14th and 15th century, advances in weaponry, particularly longbows and crossbows, made chainmail less effective. As a result, plate armor made from larger solid metal plates began to replace chainmail in many armies, as it offered better protection against piercing weapons. Great American Pot Pie Day is celebrated on September 23rd each year to honor one of the most beloved comfort foods in the U.S. English settlers brought the pot pie tradition to North America during colonial times. With the abundance of game, poultry, and vegetables in the New World, settlers adapted the dish to include local ingredients. Chicken pot pie became a popular version with a creamy sauce and hearty filling. The pot pie became widely popular in America in the 20th century, especially with the advent of frozen foods. In 1951, the C.A. Swanson Company began selling frozen chicken pot pies, which became a convenient meal for many American families. Pot pies remain a beloved comfort food enjoyed in various forms. While chicken pot pie is the most common version, variations with beef, turkey, and vegetarian fillings have gained popularity. The enduring appeal of pot pie lies in its versatility and hearty, satisfying nature, making it a timeless dish that's celebrated even today. Lash Stylist Day is celebrated on September 24th and celebrates the artistry and skill of professionals who specialize in enhancing lashes through extensions, lifts, tints, and styling techniques. Eyelashes act as a barrier against dust, debris, and small particles, helping to keep your eyes clear and free from irritation. The average lifespan of an eyelash is about 90 days. After falling out, new lashes take about 4 to 8 weeks to grow back. You typically have 3 layers of eyelashes on your upper lid and 2 layers on your lower lid. The upper lashes are generally longer and more noticeable than the lower lashes. You have around 90 to 150 lashes on your upper eyelid and 70 to 80 on the lower eyelid. Mascara, the popular cosmetic for lengthening and darkening lashes, was invented in the early 20th century by Eugene Rommel and T.L. Williams, founder of Maybelline. According to the Guinness World Records, the longest eyelash ever recorded was 3.14 inches. That's 8 centimeters for the rest of the world. National Lobster Day is celebrated annually on September 25th in the United States. It honors the lobster, a delicious and iconic seafood delicacy, particularly significant in New England and coastal areas. When European settlers arrived in North America, they regarded lobster as low-class food, and lobsters were mainly consumed by the poor, indentured servants, or prisoners. In fact, there are records that state prisoners complained about being fed lobster too frequently, which was seen as a sign of poor treatment. In the 19th century, the canning industry developed, allowing lobster to be preserved and shipped inland, increasing its popularity across the country. With the advent of railroads, lobster could be transported to cities like New York and Boston, where it became a fashionable delicacy. As demand grew, lobstering became a thriving industry in New England, particularly in Maine. Lobster was rebranded as a luxury food, and it started being served in fancy restaurants. Johnny Appleseed Day is celebrated on two dates each year. That's March 11th and September 26th. Johnny Appleseed, born John Chapman on September 26th of 1774 in Leominster, Massachusetts, became an American folk hero for his role in planting apple trees and promoting apple cultivation across the United States. John Chapman grew up during the American Revolutionary War and was second child of Nathaniel and Elizabeth Chapman. Around the 1790s, Chapman started his long career as a nurseryman, moving westward into Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and West Virginia. Rather than just scattering apple seeds randomly, as folklore suggests, Chapman was a skilled horticulturist who planted apple nurseries, well-planned, fenced plots of land where he cultivated young apple trees. John Chapman died on March 18th of 1845 near Fort Wayne, Indiana, at around the age of 70, though details of his final years are a mix of fact and legend. Morning Show Host Day is celebrated on September 27th to honor the personalities who wake us up early to entertain, inform, and connect with audiences on morning television and radio shows. Morning shows first gained popularity on the radio in the 1930s and 40s, with hosts playing music, sharing news, and engaging in light banter to entertain listeners starting their day. One of the earliest radio morning personalities was Arthur Godfrey, who became famous for his show Arthur Godfrey Times in the 1940s. The first major morning TV show Today debuted in 1952 with Dave Garroway as its first host. The show revolutionized the format by mixing news, weather, interviews, and lifestyle content. Garroway was famously joined by a chimpanzee named J. Fred Muggs, adding a playful element to the program. ABC launched Good Morning America in 1975 with David Hartman and Nancy Dussal as the original hosts. Morning show hosts have shaped popular culture for decades, helping viewers start their day informed and entertained. The world's largest pet walk is an annual event organized by Pet Partners, a non-profit organization that promotes animal-assisted therapy. The event encourages people to walk their pets, celebrating the bond between humans and animals. The walk is held worldwide, and pet owners from across the planet can participate by walking their pets in their local areas. The world's largest pet walk was created by Pet Partners, a leading organization dedicated to improving human health and well-being through animal-assisted therapy. Pet Partners was founded in 1977 and has since grown to become one of the most respected organizations in the field of animal-assisted interventions. The walk began as a way to celebrate the human-animal bond and to encourage people to get active with their pets. It also serves as a fundraising event to support Pet Partners' mission of training therapy animals and their handlers. Since 2018, the world's largest pet walk has raised more than $405,000 to register therapy animal teams and bring the love of animals to those in need. National Silent Movie Day is celebrated on September 29th each year, the primary form of cinematic entertainment from the late 1800s until the late 1920s. Before the advent of talkies, silent films laid the groundwork for modern cinema, relying heavily on expressive acting, innovative camera work, and intertitles to tell stories. Early silent films were very short, typically lasting only a minute or two. Directors like Georges Méliès in France created groundbreaking films like A Trip to the Moon in 1902, which used elaborate sets and special effects to create imaginative fantasy worlds. D.W. Griffith's 1915 The Birth of a Nation was a landmark film in terms of its narrative, complexity, and use of cinematic techniques. The transition to sound began in 1927 with the release of The Jazz Singer, the first feature-length film with synchronized sound and dialogue. While it wasn't entirely a talkie, the film's inclusion of a few talking and singing scenes marked the beginning of the end for silent films. Let's all have a moment of silence. Thunderbird Day is held on September 30th, the anniversary of the original airing of the classic series episode Trapped in the Sky in 1965, premiering on the United Kingdom's ITV network. Though initially designed as a 25-minute show, it was expanded to 1-hour episodes because of its ambitious action sequences and dramatic storytelling. British TV series Thunderbirds, created by Jerry and Sylvia Anderson, used marionette puppetry called Super Marionation and model special effects to drive the series. Thunderbirds is set in the 2060s and follows the adventures of International Rescue, a secret organization that uses technologically advanced vehicles called Thunderbirds to perform daring rescue missions around the world. The idea for Thunderbirds was inspired by a real-life mining disaster in Germany, where miners were rescued using advanced drilling machines. This led Jerry Anderson to conceive a show about a futuristic rescue organization that used cutting-edge technology to save lives in impossible situations.